What's up, people? Welcome to the Seattle Overload podcast. Please let us know if there's any audio issues. Obviously, we're live just before the Seahawks get on to the clock, and some good players have been taken. But I think my knowledge of the draft gift is nothing like your knowledge of the draft this year. But my
Mine is
very
really
kind
good.
of basic take would be there's still a lot of interesting players available. Now, these next few picks are probably going to be brutal, as is often the way when you pick at 18. But Griffin, they're in a quite a nice spot right now. So, I mean, who are you
Yeah.
hoping is still there?
Um, First pick would be Ty Warren at
Okay,
18. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah. Let me talk about him because, oh my god, if he's still there, I'd want to run to the podium for that.
Yep.
Like his blend of like, cause he'll get kind of bucketed as a move tight end, right? And um, like Mike Gesicki came out of Penn State, and when I saw his profile, I was like, oh come on, it's just like a guy who wasn't athletic enough to be a receiver. But no, he's actually
hmm
like, don't do the helmet scouting. He's actually a genuine. I think he can do everything, and that would be very exciting for the offense. It would make Noah Fant just like a joke.
Obsolete.
But at the same time, that would be a cool pick. Anyway, who else? Warren. What did you like about Warren?
He's the most little bit of everything tight end in this
Right.
draft. So um, I think as a pure receiver, he's second behind Loveland, but like he's 85-90% of what Loveland is. And then as a blocker, he's overrated as a legitimate pure Y. Like he's not going to base block a 6 technique yet, but he'll reach a 9 technique though,
Yeah, I was so
or
impressed
he'll
at,
pick out a 9 technique, or get to the second level like it's nothing, which outside zone.
and even like cutting off 9 techniques on the backside of zone runs. Like
Right.
I was really impressed with him. His ability to just seamlessly go like from out wide to inline
Mhm.
and vice versa, and kind of line up
Yeah.
everywhere in the formation.
Uh,
And it wasn't like window dressing. It was like, oh no, he genuinely can do everything, like in the core and out the core.
yeah, yeah, and just the movement skills are insane. But what he can do after the catch, all that his movement skills after the catch, all of that translates to improving everywhere else as a
Mm.
receiver, route runner, blocker, all of it. So it's sky's the limit for Warren. And even if he doesn't meet his potential, he's still a really good player.
Yeah.
Even as is. So Cowboys took Booker. Is
Right.
he not the most shoddy guard that has ever existed?
Yeah. Is
Inside zone protection, some sprinkle in some power.
like Mike Solari has to come back just for that.
Yes, yes. I mean, he is kind of what Ayupati, Sweezy, Fluker was doing for you times infinity.
Mm.
So that'll be pretty cool.
Well, and that's a nice segue for us, Griff, as well, because while tight end would be a fun pick, and Warren's quite a special player, and there's another tight end who still hasn't been drafted who's interesting as well.
hmm
People would, I think, be understandably surprised and a bit maybe disappointed that Seattle doesn't bolster their one kind of gaping need in the draft right now, which is clearly the offensive line, specifically the interior.
Right.
And Booker's gone. So any names on the interior of the offensive line
Dude,
that
it's tricky because the guys that are like pure guard, I wouldn't take until the second round, fringe first type thing. So, like I've got of the guards available. I'm Zabel, Embo, Ratledge, Savanea, even Donovan Jackson. Like you can get those guys in the second round. And even of those names, like I'm really not that big on Donovan Jackson for Kubiak and Benton. Same with Savanea and Ratledge. Like really, the only two guys that feel like fits that are also like highly touted are Embo and Zabel. So it's kind of awkward right now. And how do they want to, do that payoff or that trade off game, the opportunity cost game,
hmm,
with just an overall good player, and then like the kind of an awkward scheme fit. So I mean, if Josh Simmons is there, I mean, moving him to guard would be pretty cool. but he's coming off of an injury, so it's kind of an odd spot to be in. I really think they should address guard with one of their picks in the 50s, and then there will still be options later on: Jackson Slater, Charles Grant, Caleb Rogers, Kandra. Those guys will be good, kind of middle of the draft prospects. So
interesting, and knowing John Schneider, I'm sure he views that in a similar fashion. I also think these next let's do the math. Pick 13 to 18. These next 5 picks? At least one of those guards is probably going to go, right? I'd be surprised if that does not happen. So we did have a nice donation here from Finn Riles, and we've also had another really nice donation, which we'll get to in a second. But thank you, Finn. Finn, with the question. If you want to ask a question, we'll try and get them all answered. But donating helps me see it, particularly at 2:30 in the morning. Finn saying, very happy that the boys are back. Will be even happier if Jihad is a Seahawk tonight. That is, of course, Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama. And Griff, I mean, again, you'll have watched more of him than I have. I watched 3 games rapidly today. He is really solid across the board. He seems very good at avoiding blocks. He seems... I mean, he's been in multiple Alabama defenses, but obviously Nick Saban tasked a lot of his linebacker even before the regime change there. And I think he can just do... He's just a really solid linebacker, right? But in terms of... In my perspective was... I mean, he ran a 4.52 40, and he's like a proper actual linebacker size. But I wasn't blown away by like, wow, at all. It was more like really good, really good, really good, really good. And I guess the translation to McDonald's system is the way that he could fit like gun zone runs, ball fit, like stack the guard and then fall back to the gap. Stack his defensive tackle in front of him and fall back with zone runs. He had 2 splash tackles. Like that, which was the closest I got to getting excited. But I mean, am I wrong there? Like,
no. He's kind of your run of the mill true first round linebacker that should go like in the late 20s. So he's not one of those weird tweener projects.
I saw
a linebacker.
People describe him as a Swiss Army knife or whatever. It's like, just because he played a bit of edge just to give him like some package diversity, that doesn't really make him he's just a linebacker, man.
No, he's a linebacker. It's nice for knowing like, hey, when we blitz this guy 5 times a game, sure, he has some block engagement chops, but coming downhill. But no, he's just a regular quality linebacker prospect that can really beef up your defense. Obviously, the spine of the coverage is the weak spot of the defense if you were to identify a weak spot. So it's my belief they need to add one more impact player there to kind of round out a trio with Ernest Jones and Devin Witherspoon. Well, maybe 4 guys and throw in Julian Love there. So you just have one more guy that can kind of control seam routes, control crosser routes, give you some top-down coverage with, in breaking stuff when you spot drop. I mean, you can attach when he's the will because they're not going to move Jones off Mike.
So you think this is what they'd do? They'd keep Jones as the Mike and they'd put Campbell as the will, and
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And so when he's the will, saying a too high coverage, and they want to assign a vertical hook match, right, where they want to cover 2 sides, they want him carrying seams all the way downfield.
Yeah,
like they did with Cody Barton that one year in 2022.
Who could forget?
Well, I mean that's an example. That's a reference point. You can do that with Campbell. You can't do that with Tyrese Knight.
Well, and
he has not asked Tyrese Knight to do that, and he won't.
Sure,
he would with Campbell though.
Well, and also with Knight last season in the first year of McDonald's system, we saw elements of him getting put down on the line very occasionally. And again, with Campbell's background, what we were saying about how, maybe he's been mischaracterized as like a chess piece player, but he's certainly got some experience and some comfortability, like being able to play maybe 4 to 5 snaps a game down on the line. Like Seattle in short yardage situations would put Knight down on the line in like a 6-2 look, and They'd also occasionally get into like reducing the front with the wheel down on the line in other spots too. So Campbell could do that, and
Yeah.
you could have some flexibility and interchangeability with him and Jones. You could almost play left and right. I think he. So yeah, and then we'll if they don't take a linebacker, we'll have a chance to talk about the rest of the linebacker group. Obviously, we've been gone for a minute, but I know you've been speaking about that in other places, and people can find your tweets at CMikeSpinMove. I've been not that impressed with the rest of the linebackers. So again, if you're saying linebackers a need, maybe you just get the really solid guy who's polished and you just go, it's not a need anymore, and there's not much left in the draft.
Yeah. There are some kind of round 3, round 4 linebackers that I like that could be, I think, 3-down players eventually. The other big name is Schlesinger, but he kind of has a fatal flaw, which would really depend on development there. Obviously, that flaw being like squared up contact.
Dude, I can't. When you told me he was 240 pounds, I really had to. I know he bulked up for the combine, but like, I just saw, and he is a taller type, right, as well. So that's adding some mass. But I just couldn't believe it. Like, he just does not play like that. Like, they take him off the field in situations where they're needing more thump. It was so disappointing to me.
Yeah. I still think the movement skills and the flexibility, like,
yeah, they're pretty special.
He needs to. I think it's a technique thing, because when he's coming downhill, I mean, he really leans into contact downhill, but it's like he's shot out of a cannon. He's got momentum on his side. It's like the passive anchor. But I still think, though, that his game isn't going to be predicated on squaring guys up either. Like for Campbell, it isn't. Campbell, it's about, like, Campbell's very good at block engagement. But that doesn't mean he's stacking shedding every time. He's got like a Navarro Bowman package in terms of how he's approaching the block, and it's essentially block avoidance.
He's so good at avoiding blocks. That stood out to me. Yeah.
So that's what Schlesinger's game needs to grow into. He needs to put on weight and carry that weight well for more like just kind of regular linebacker stuff. It's not necessarily to, stonewall the 300-pounder coming right down on you against duo.
And he has a younger guy as well, right? The other factor to Campbell, as Brandon points out in the chat, is that there's rumors of him having like some medical concern. So maybe he does just slide out the first round. You'd hate to see it, but could be a thing. Tyler Warren just drafted by the Colts, so that scenario we'll never know if Seattle would have taken him. Let's deal with these other 2 donations, Griff, and then talk about the other tight end.
Okay.
Ben, thank you so much. Ben saying, love these streams. You teach us so much. Thanks. Ben, appreciate your continued support. So kind.
Very kind of you.
And Lee saying, thanks for filling the downtime, fellas. No problem, Lee. There's no downtime. It's the draft. Perhaps elsewhere it is.
Seattle overload.
Exactly. Overload. The first overload in like nearly a month. But still overload. So, Griff, Loveland is the other tight end, right? He hasn't been drafted yet.
He has been drafted, in fact.
What?
Breaking news. Colston Loveland's been drafted by the Chicago Bears.
Was he? Oh, I missed that.
Matty Brown. Matty.
Oh, no tight ends. Right. Who do you want to talk?
We're out of the tight end race for the top 2 guys. Well, that's disappointing.
Oh, bummer. So basically, the Bears just went, "Hey, Gerald Everett was a great idea. Let's get like a better
version of that." Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so who is Loveland really? He's he's like if Kincaid had just more body to him.
Right. If Kincaid was combined with Jimmy Graham and and Gerald Everett.
So the other position, like the cousin to the linebacker position, the safety.
Right. Yes.
I mean, look, to me, Malachi Starks is safety 1, but you've got a classic value conversation because Makuba, Watts, and Winston, frankly, are not that far behind. and they'll be there day 2. So what do you want to do here? I mean, I think they should probably trade back, pick the best O lineman in the 20s, and then just fill out all your needs.
Does how much this is so lazy because
Or maybe Campbell in the
they
20s.
both played for the same school, but like I guess it's an interesting discussion. Let's lean on that. So like Javon Bullard versus Starks, like who did you prefer? Because remember Bullard, we were saying in the second round we loved that idea and we really liked his tape too. And Georgia, just as a defense, seems to produce so many players where you're like, this guy's so like he's going to be good in the NFL. How good is more the question, and then of course with safety, as you said, positional value. But like,
I thought
how do you view Starks?
I liked Bullard a lot, and I remember watching him last year. I remember thinking Starks was better.
Okay, yeah,
So
he was always flashing, right?
he's just a really good football player. Now the thing is, another awkward thing with kind of like a top ranked safety, he's really not that athletic. He's more so just like an ace football player than he is this, bursty, insane athlete.
What stood out to me is he like really understood like what moments he was going to be put in danger or stress, and was almost ahead of that. Which, to your point, that's basically a safety, right? The anticipation, the like recognition. It's film study, but it's also like in the moment, like your instincts going off that, hey, I need to navigate around this like rub, or I need to play this type of leverage a bit more aggressively here because my danger is going off. And
right.
Yeah, so I like Starks too, but at 18, given what we've said about the Seahawks, given what we've said about the draft class, it feels rich. But this is the problem with, I think, picking 18, isn't it? Like, you have to find the trade down partner. There was Ian Rappaport reported that the Seahawks had interest among a number of teams around this area of trying to trade down, but it takes two to tango, and who would trade up at this point?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're going to trade up, it would be for Sanders, maybe. Shedeur Sanders, or maybe Dart.
Yeah. And then is there any quarterback needy team behind Seattle who you need to like leapfrog? I don't think so. Tampa Bay,
yeah,
Denver, possibly Pittsburgh, possibly if you need to find someone. But
real quick, we should make a note. Are we doing spoilers? Are we doing Twitter spoilers?
Oh no, I'm behind anyway.
Or are we just
what has to happen is the feed has to travel across the Atlantic Ocean, so I'm slightly behind anyway. So I mean, I had Loveland's pick spoiled for me, like live on air today.
Yeah. So I don't know, chat. Are we doing so? Don't put any spoilers in the chat, then, guys.
Yeah, no spoilers. All right, Griff. Let's talk about corners. I like corners. So cornerback might be a sneaky need for the Seahawks, right? Because, like, are we really rocking with Josh Jobe at left corner? I mean, I thought Josh Jobe did great. Of course, they switch sides a bit more now, but primarily at left corner, right? Is that really the plan? Probably an area you need to get competition at. Reek Woolen, we love what he can be, and I think we love what he is as well, right? But there's also that element of doubt. And then Spoon, that whole discussion of you want to get him enough snaps in the slot, and to do that you need a perimeter corner to help you feel really good about that as well. So, Drift, perimeter corner wise, have you watched many of these guys?
I've watched like Will Johnson, Barron, Amos,
yeah,
a couple other guys.
Yeah, so let's where do you want to start?
Well,
take it somewhere.
Real quick question though, we got to remember though, like let's say they extend Woolen, which they might. Your third corner is a 800 snap player at the very most, and granted, like you could draft a defensive lineman and they may only play 750 snaps. That could be worth it,
like a Byron Murphy,
Right, but 800 at most, right? And then the other end of it is if you draft a third safety, that safety might have nickel versatility. That's another reason to take Witherspoon out of the slot. So the third corner may only have, say, 600 snaps.
Yep. Yep.
So is that a position you want to invest super high in? And given the success of Job and given the success in Seattle with depth corners and given the success in Baltimore with depth corners, I mean, like both those regimes think alike historically at corner. I think they should trust in their ability to roster a third corner, with minimal expenditure,
Yep.
unless they're just enamored with the guy and they think this guy can multiply our defense and we can transcend and blah, blah, blah. Then, okay, fine. Granted, that's what they did with Witherspoon, right? So, I
No,
don't
I
know.
don't disagree with what you're saying, and I wasn't particularly enamored with a few of these first round corners.
Yeah, so what do you think about these guys?
Well, like Johnson's clearly smart, but like I would and but I'd just be shocked, like like a lack of juice, like closing ability on like in cuts, which is a big thing that we look for, right? Like ability to break across the field on digs and and like not the most stunning profile in terms of like he's got short arms. Just I didn't really understand how high he was being mocked at times.
Mm-hmm.
Barron out of Texas, some people liken him as a big nickel, which I don't understand particularly. I know he played some slot for Texas, but like to me, he was quite impressive. As playing on the right hand side, like he had a great game against Georgia, but it's a ton of off coverage. But what I really liked about him was how he eliminated like the short to intermediate routes. I also saw people criticizing his lack of long speed. I don't think it was that. I think he's very, very confident in absorbing those kind of, like I said, short to intermediate routes and knowing when a guy's going in those areas before going deep, and also
Yeah.
catching guys and just eliminating every single part of the route rather than just playing with loads of cushion for no reason. So excellent usage of cushion from him.
Okay.
Great click and closer. I really liked what I saw. I need to, if they draft him, I'd obviously dive in a bit more. But so and he has some nickel maybe versatility there, which need to unlock more of. But
Yeah.
yeah, lots of not much press reps. Sure, you can coach a guy that, but we're talking at pick 18.
Right. Right.
I kind of agree with
Um,
your assessment on them needing to back themselves and their ability to find like a competitive corner in a couple of later rounds, maybe.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't think it's the best use of resources. Maybe if it's just BPA philosophy, then so be it. Whatever. You'd be improving the team if you took one of those guys. I mean, you'd still be improving the team. It's just so easy to get lost in the who was the alternative, on draft day. But then when it comes week one of the regular season and you see three elite corners walk out on the field, you're like, sure, like I'm not complaining. So. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. On the Woolen point, I think part of the argument for drafting corner is that Woolen may not be long for the Seahawks, and I get that. I kind of feel like they're going to stick by him and just deal with the up and downs and pay him.
Yeah, if they draft a corner, it certainly suggests that the Woolen thing is less rosy maybe than
Yeah, I
if they
mean,
had.
if it's really bad, not like bad like toxic, but like, hey, we're not getting the commitment from this guy in meetings or whatever, and they just don't want to coach with that anymore, then okay. But as a player, just purely what's on the field, what we can observe, I think I'll take the bad with the good with him.
So let's transition to Woolen's old position, Griff.
Okay.
Wide receiver, because the Seahawks receiver room is light. They lost Tyler Lockett, they lost DK Metcalf, and they currently have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp, and then some. Oh, this guy could make the leap this year.
Right.
Jake Bobo, Derek Young. Who's gonna be the X?
What did you say about Jake Bobo?
Sorry, yeah,
Um,
we get to see more of him, or
I
do
don't,
we?
I
Because
don't, I don't like your tone, Matty.
well, we may not see more of him, not for my fault, but for the blame of John Schneider. Because Griff, they could draft the receiver. I've just seen Daniel Jeremiah's top 200, and guess who's still available? Is it Marcus Golden out of Texas?
Um,
I don't think it
what's
is.
the guy's name? I know it because
Golden.
Golden.
Um, what do you think of him, Griff? Because Matthew, it's literally my name.
Look,
Disgusting.
look, I liked him more than I think I should. I actually think he's pretty good. I think he has a
Oh,
well-rounded game. I actually think he tracks the ball pretty well.
don't compare him to Robert Woods.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, though. There are like 5 guys in this draft that kind of fit that archetype.
You wanted to compare him to Robert Woods, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and the thing though is that all these guys are so interchangeable. I'm trying to bring up my list. You know who
Mm,
really intrigues me though are like Jaden Higgins and like Besh as like tall power slots, big slots,
right.
and they would be the guys I'd be clamoring for if Russell Wilson was the quarterback still. Um, but I think they need to hold off on receiver till day 2 and like their third
It
or
just
fourth pick overall.
seems like there's so much value there,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but then we're kind of talking again. This is why 18's looking a bit funky right now because we're talking ourselves out of all of these. It's another reason to support a trade down, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Matthew
I
Golden.
felt with
Matthew Golden.
with Golden, I couldn't really. It's a bit of a weird offense, right? Like sometimes he was running himself into defenders, but then sometimes he was really good at finding space. Um, whoever 7 was in that offense was interesting.
Is that Isaiah Bond?
It might be. It might be. And yeah, I completely agree with your receiver assessment. I guess in
Yeah,
my
Bond.
ideal world, a small trade down and
Small
then
trade down.
a guard or
See, the other thing is they don't really need an extra pick in terms of volume. Like they really don't. I wonder if they try to get an extra pick next year, or if they trade back and then package to trade up in the second for like their guy, quote unquote.
for the dude, yeah.
Right,
So
right, right.
so what we didn't really dive. We didn't talk much about Zabel. Now, I haven't actually watched much of his North Dakota State tape, but I did watch him at the Senior Bowl where I was like, how have North Dakota State got like another really guy who's dominating everyone at the Senior Bowl? Um, but then there's the caveat of it being the Senior Bowl. So, Griff, you did speak a bit on like the options as a whole, but does Zabel fit Seattle? Because obviously he played like
Yeah.
left tackle for North Dakota State, and he seems pretty solid. But the idea is that he'd kick inside the guard, given his like length, right? You play him
Yeah.
like left guard, would you? Or
Yeah, I mean, he's a guard to me. Some people have talked about him at center. I don't see him being able to play low enough and come out of his stance consistently. Plus, I have no idea if he can really snap the ball well. I think
mm,
he's played center before, so that probably answers that question. To me, though, he's a guard. He fits the scheme. He moves laterally well. He can sustain his blocks, continuously apply power throughout gaining ground, which that's the thing. A lot of guys that can only really uh, create power like out of their stance. It's kind of like they're like a musket. Once they shoot their shot,
mm,
they're done.
mm.
But he can reshape his body and
Runs his feet well.
yep. He can roll his hips through and then like resync on the fly. So he's constantly delivering power. A lot of these guys can't do that. That's another guy, Marcus Embo. Like he does that to an even greater degree, in my opinion. The ability to reshape his body on the front side of zone. Embo is so good.
And he hasn't been drafted?
No, and Embo will go in the second round because he's light, and then he didn't test elite, but he
Right.
plays like an elite athlete. He didn't test like it. So, and you know who else did that was Charles Cross. But Cross had bona fide tackle length,
Mm.
so and tape. Um, to me, what makes Embo exciting is projecting him to guard. But I feel like Zabel probably has a little bit more going for him pedigree-wise than Embo. I still think 18 is rich. The thing we got to look out for, though, is the quarterback at 18. Should we talk about the quarterbacks?
Well, real quick, just on the two linemen, the Embo and Zabel, right? And Zabel in particular, because it would be a first-round pick. The fact that he has 32-inch arms, like Schneider, I'm pretty damn sure. I could go back and check. I'm pretty damn sure he would never have taken a 32-inch long arm lineman. Period. But particularly not in the first 2 days of the draft. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but we don't know how strict his thresholds get for stuff like that. I can imagine it might be. Griff's, quarterback. Cam Ward gone. The draft channel's really trying to hype up, where's Shedeur Sanders going? Which at some point you have to kind of feel bad for the guy.
And who is he, Matty? Who is he? He's Alex Smith. He's Alex Smith.
Is he?
He's a solid processor.
Was Alex Smith not more mobile?
Alex Smith was pretty mobile.
That's what I'm saying. Was he not more?
To me, Shedeur is a skilled mover in the same way that like Darnold's a skilled mover. He's not
So I think Alex Smith was a better running option.
Maybe he has a little more spring to him. Okay.
Obviously, before his catastrophic injury.
The arm is not. The arm being what it is means that, he's got to be operating at his absolute ceiling processing wise.
Yeah. To
access the windows that he needs to access to like take an offense over the top.
Right.
And he has the potential for that, but he might end up being Alex Smith. He might end up being, Derek Carr, who Derek Carr honestly has a strong arm. He just doesn't use it. But Derek Carr at his best is a fringe top 10 quarterback. He's had a couple of seasons like that.
Yeah. I mean, when he was with pre-bad Gruden,
right.
Well, maybe he was bad at the time, but anyway, he looked like a quarterback, right? Gruden had him zipping it in there and actually throwing those throws.
But he's not going to be, Kirk Cousins ever. Some people have comped him to Geno, but it's like he doesn't have Geno's arm. He can't drive a ball like that. So he's a pocket quarterback. You got to give him his due. Like the floor is high there, but the arm isn't special. He should be a second rounder. And he should go to a team with a good situation. Well, but if he's the pick at 18, I'd be pretty disappointed.
The other thing which is wild, like just listening to all the draft coverage and stuff, is like his dad, who everyone knows, right, has been his Pop Warner coach, like his coach since Pop Warner, right? That's kind of crazy to think, like. And can you imagine being the son of Deion Sanders and still succeeding and playing like college football at a pretty high level and being talked about as a first-round draft pick and stuff? Like is not overcome's not the right word, but you've dealt with your fair share of expectations. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, that would be a positive. But us doing all of this stuff where we just watch tape and look at the testing, but we don't obviously have any access really to the mental side of it, which is the biggest bit. Don't
underestimate my ability to psychoanalyze NFL players.
No, absolutely not.
2,000 miles away through a TV screen, Matty.
Absolutely not. But that all being said, to go into the NFL without like your dad for the first time, basically, and I'm sure his dad will be close by helping out. That's another like thing where I'd be interested in like how it plays out, and to do that at 18 would be fascinating with the first time, not first time, but a new offensive coordinator, basically another new offensive system, very poor looking receivers, whatnot. So we will see. Griff I'd be happy here, I think, with Jihad Campbell as the pick, given what I've seen from the rest of the linebackers. Not that I hate the rest of them, but I wasn't particularly impressed. Who would you like here? If the medical's okay, of course.
Yeah, trying to, think like Tetris here, taking the consideration, opportunity costs and all that, and who will be available later, blah, blah, blah. I think I might go Campbell. If you stick and pick, Campbell, yeah.
There you go.
Because you can still get your safety, you can still get your guard, you still get your tight end and receiver down the line. So
now I've only just seen the Goodell announce the Bengals pick, so chat, that gives you an idea of how behind I am, and Griff, you too. Wow, how exciting!
Yeah, Shamar Stewart. Okay. I don't have D-line on my radar at all till like
no, you've like, round. And that says a lot because you've. If you don't know, guys, Griff's been posting out excellent. Well, they might be absolute crap, but detailed rankings of each position group really in the draft. He's been zipping through all the tape. But Griff, I may have missed it. Usually you're the D-line guru. You love your edges and your D-line and your Michael Bennett and all that good stuff. But I haven't actually seen like edge rankings from you, which is probably the first time ever. It's just unheard of, which speaks to that not being a need for Seattle at all.
I'm pretty secure. I'm pretty secure with the D-line group they have right now, interior and exterior. So I'm just not. I don't feel like they need to really add a guy. They might need to add a guy next year because of with departures, but I don't know. I think they're really strong there. I think they have a top 7 D-line in the NFL, and it's the strength of the team. I think you got to spend your resources elsewhere. Plus, if you do draft a guy on account of BPA, how many? There aren't any snaps for him. You 300 snaps for an 18th overall pick player. I mean, even look at Byron Murphy last year. Only played 450. So, what are you going to do there?
Yeah. What are you going to do there? Well, it's the waiting game. I think we've done a fairly comprehensive job.
I mean, maybe they trade someone. All right, so I'm not looking at the internet. I'm not even looking at the chat. I'm going to look at the screen.
This is the raw reaction of Overload. Magnificence. What did you think of McMillan, Griff? McMillan.
He's a good player. He needs to block a little bit more, but he would have been.
His block. Yeah, that's what. Oh,
Matty, Genty to the Raiders.
Oh man, that's so cool. Why do you think I'm wearing all black?
I didn't think they'd do it, but that's pretty cool, man. What the hell are you gonna do when 2x2 formation shotgun, and they're playing cover quarter half, and you're handing off a inside zone ball or inside zone call to Genty? Like,
what are you gonna do? And
on 1st and 10, you know what Saquon Barkley was averaging on 1st and 10 shotgun against 2 high last year? Like 7 yards per carry.
The other thing with Genty as well, Griff, is like he was untapped as a receiver. Like that he can catch the ball and run routes. Like Chip's gonna.
Chip Kelly, bro. Yeah, man. I keep forgetting about Chip. So that's pretty cool.
And like from what you've said, maybe they'll be able to get like an interior lineman or two in the second, third type. Someone from a Seahawks perspective to keep an eye on, because the Raiders need offensive line. Seattle needs offensive line. If Seattle doesn't go offensive line here, then that's a competitor who picks before them.
Yeah. Matty, what's your favorite sandwich? I want a sandwich right now.
Oh, well, we could do the hilarious bit about is a hot dog a sandwich or not, except hot dog would be a bizarre answer for a favorite sandwich, and it is not, in fact, my favorite sandwich or hot dog. I like a club sandwich, like when it's done proper. That's really nice.
Yeah.
I like a pastrami and Emmental and mustard and pickles. I like a Reuben, which is, I mean, I don't want to offend people here. There are similarities between the two. It's not the same. There's similarities.
They are different. How about a pastrami Reuben?
Pardon?
How about a pastrami Reuben?
Yeah.
Well, Reuben's with pastrami.
Yeah. So the draft room, Jody Allen sat next to Mike
we're not
McDonald.
talking about sandwiches anymore. Okay.
What's your favorite sandwich?
No, it's okay. No, we can move on.
What's your favorite sandwich? Tell me, quick.
Really, it's okay.
And like an Italian deli sandwich with like
Honestly,
nice
yeah, I
cured meat.
love toasted Italian sandwiches.
Yeah, hell
Um,
yeah. Oh, I
uh,
had a great one with like
banh mi,
fennel salami and like
banh mi is really good.
soft cheese in Florence. It was so nice. Yeah.
All
I
right,
see Goodell on the stage.
do they go Simmons?
Oh, I've seen the pick.
Zabel, okay. That's fine. I mean, you had to do it. I guess you had to. A bit of an overdraft, but you had to do it. So
It
whatever.
does somewhat fit the theme of the last two drafts where the pick has kind of been very much as expected. Nothing too astonishing, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess Spoon was slightly. It wasn't surprising, but it was like, oh yeah, that's a player, but it was kind of where he's meant to go.
yeah.
The whole center thing, if I don't see that being a thing in Seattle, I know you spoke on that before this pick, but surely they're going to give Olu the shot at that.
At center,
Yeah.
yeah, and a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The team likes Olu, so
Oh,
that makes sense to
is that
me.
an Overload exclusive?
Maybe not exclusive, but what do you call it when it's not? It's almost exclusive. You know how like Ultimate has like penultimate for like second to last. What do you call it when it's like almost exclusive to? Anyway, the team.
Special?
Okay, there you go. An overload special. Yeah, so like Benton likes Oluwatimi and he likes Haynes.
The new offensive line coach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, cool, whatever.
Wow. You can't get excited about a first round interior offensive lineman? What's wrong with you?
What? So you're not overwhelmed. You're not underwhelmed. You're merely whelmed.
You're Zabled.
You're zabled.
Um, so I think the versatility is important to note. We did see Ben pointing that out, how he played across the line at North Dakota State. His Senior Bowl, when it came to actually playing as a full line, he was working at center, and of course in the one-on-ones, he was snapping the ball a bit too. That versatility is big, isn't it? Given we've seen how a Seahawks offensive line that's already struggling crumbles even more so when you take one guy out, and then in theory Zabel could slide across in a pinch and be okay. But yeah, for Schneider to take a first round lineman with under, what do you call it, 33-inch arms, 32-inch flat arms, that's something. That's write that one down.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you're so nonplussed. Here's something which should get you plussed. Carl,
right.
good to see you again, Carl. That is very kind
Pastrami
of you.
sandwich would plus me.
Zabel, come on down.
Oh,
Carl,
thank
that's
you,
so
Carl.
kind.
Very kind, Carl.
And I think this is also, chat, how happy are you with this? Because we all know that the offensive line is the thorny issue. This is kind of what everyone wanted, right? It's what everyone was mocking the Seahawks, and everyone was saying he wouldn't get past 18. Ben Solak of ESPN, for instance. Yeah, there you go. They didn't get cute and trade down. Maybe they tried to trade down and weren't able to.
So
we'll never know.
In the spirit of like how quickly units can change, it happens every year where a bad unit turns good or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what happens, and it doesn't have to be a bunch of different things occurring. So, like, what's the pitch for this O-line this year? Okay, so new staff. You've got Charles Cross. Let's assume he continues to grow. Abraham Lucas. Let's just assume he stays healthy. Okay, let's assume he gets back to his rookie year. Okay, so your tackle room's set. You just drafted Gray Zabel. Cool. He should be a Pro Bowl caliber guard. All right, awesome. And then Oluwatimi, who I think is a developing player. If Oluwatimi pans out, if you could crystal ball look into the future and he turns out well, that's not a surprise in the sense that that is plausible because he was a good center in college. He has tools, he has traits, he fits the scheme. And the same thing with Haynes, even more to the point.
Yeah.
When we drafted Haynes, everyone liked it. If you told us when we drafted him, hey, Haynes pans out, he'd be like, that makes sense. Everyone assumed he would for the most part.
Well, and he's like arguably the biggest beneficiary of this. I mean, things were bad beforehand, right? But
Right.
the system where it's so wide zone dominant, like a lot of his best blocks at Yukon were like reach blocking of 3-tech.
Right.
And
Right.
And kind of working on that like 3-tech combo, and then we did actually hear that he was pretty unhappy with the wide zone teaching with the previous Seahawks offensive staff. So he's a massive beneficiary anyway. Now, Griff, on the subject of Haynes, we think Bradford's a bit of an outsider with the schemes change, but we'll have to see. But on the subject of Haynes, does he work on the right or the left? And does Zabel, who's got left tackle experience, so kind of left-sided, but he's played across the line, but most of his college games at left tackle, does he play left guard and Haynes right? Or we saw Haynes at right guard for the Seahawks last season and then left a bit.
I think Zabel plays left guard, Oluwatimi center, Haynes right guard. That's probably what you're looking at. So
there you go. Right, let's read out some numbers. Griff, are you ready for some numbers?
I'm ready.
Okay. So Zabel is, at the combine at least, basically 6'6", 312 pounds, and he didn't test at the combine. However, he didn't run a 40. However, he did jump 36.5 inches in the vert, 9'3" in the broad, 26 reps on the bench. He then ran a 7.663 cone and a 4.6 seconds short shuttle at his pro day. Would you like to know, Griff, who he best compares to? Well, what are your thoughts on those testing numbers? Do they get you excited?
Yeah. He's got a lot going for him as a prospect. The tape is good. The testing is good. It's just obviously the wingspan, the arm length might be a challenge for him. As far as shooting your hands, and if he can land hands first, then great. But if he doesn't, I mean, when he loses reps, it'll probably be because he's not getting into the guy's chest before the other guy is. Like, I don't think he'd be able to recover from losing off the snap well, but he's pretty good at winning off the snap consistently. So that's the only thing you have to look out for him. So
there you go. Well, not a totally glitzy pick. Chat, if you have any questions, please
explosive, good lateral movement. But the path for the O-line coming together, I mean, it's there. You don't have to squint. You don't have to,
Well, and
you're not selling beach property in the middle of the contiguous 48.
In the middle of North Dakota.
In the middle of North Dakota. I mean, it's plausible. I don't know if it'll happen, but it's a legit chance here. This isn't the 2016 or 17 O-line where you're trying to put together arguments. I mean, they've got a lot here going for them. So,
well, and I keep hammering the point home, but the offensive line will naturally improve just from a new coaching staff who is going to run a system that is more offensive line friendly. So they were already going to improve. They needed to add at least one piece to their line. I expect there'll be 2 or 3, and that was particularly important given their kind of inaction in free agency, their decision not to / their missing on certain targets. So there you go.
Yeah.
So Griff, let's turn our attention real quick to the day 2 and day 3 process. We suspect the Seahawks are done. They do have assets which could enable them to trade back into the first round.
Yeah.
That would be a surprise, right? Given like how much of a difference is there between players going now to players going when the Seahawks next pick?
True that. I agree.
right? So probably done for the day. They have 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks. What would you like to see them address
Let's
in day 2?
go. Let's get a tight end. So Mason Taylor, Terrence Ferguson, Mitchell Evans, Elijah Arroyo, Gunnar Helm. Grab one of these guys. I think.
And is that because they're too good to pass up on, and obviously tight end's an important position for Kubiak, and they're just an upgrade on Fant? Because everyone would look at Fant and how much he's projected to make, and what they how they thought of him, and think that might not be a necessity.
Excuse me. I all those points. I would like. I just think you got to move on from Fant. Maybe they don't. Maybe they really do think he can be that kind of their F tight end, their number 2 tight end. Not in terms of importance, but like usage. You've got so tight end, linebacker, safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thinking right now.
Okay.
But we're talking middle of the team, middle of the team everywhere except D-line, essentially.
Right. And Campbell still not drafted, and maybe he does slip out the first round, although this would be the type of region that he'd go in like the 20s, I imagine. Do you want to talk more about the other linebackers? We talked about Schlesinger, but beyond that, like talking maybe third round guys, late second.
Yeah, man, let's do it. I like a lot of like the round 3 linebackers.
Well, a tip of my cap to you, because you were very early on Jordan Turner, in that, like, maybe 2 years ago you were like, this Wisconsin guy has something, and then he transferred to Michigan State. So what do you like about his game?
He's got good height, good length, good density, and it plays. It shows up. Like, he's physical. He can punch guys. He's really instinctive with his hands. He can stay square to the line of scrimmage and gain ground, as well as move laterally. But then also he can open his hips up, and he can actually sprint. He can cover long distances, but then also along the way, he can vary his sprint speed and kind of mirror the running back or mirror the ball carrier. He can throttle down, change direction, redirect. His movement skills, frankly, are good. They're really good. Right. And I think he tested okay. I think his 40 wasn't great, but his 10 and 20-yard splits were like really good, and that definitely shows up.
I think he ran like a 4.6 40, so it's not
and
not like the slowest, but
at 6'1", 236.
Yeah.
So he's not like one of these 6'1", 220-ish guys. Like, he's actually got real weight to him. And then in coverage, like, one of the main things I look for is like the prerequisites, being good at defending or roboting those play action crossing routes, is your run pass diagnosis. And he understands blocking schemes. You see him holding his depth against stretch concepts, holding his width against stretch concepts when he knows it's play action before the quarterback is faked. And then he knows which direction to push generally based off of the other pre-snap indicators, so the formations, the splits of the receivers, and all that. He can match some routes. They'll put him on guys, and he'll flip his hips and carry guys. His zone drops are decent. I haven't seen enough of it. Like, they don't put him in enough positions to like really map out how well he can essentially hook drop, because there's just a lot of combinations you want to see guys get put through.
Sure.
That might be something they coach into him, but I can't say he can't do those things either. But another thing is when they put him in because he's a will, when they put him in the weak slot against choice routes, he can mirror choice route. So I don't know, man. I mean, my only my only concern with him is why he started to lose snaps in Wisconsin last year when they had some other high-profile recruits.
Sure.
And then he comes to Michigan State now. He's not an incumbent, right? He's the new guy, right? And they're kind of cycling him in and out, but like, he's clearly the best linebacker on the Michigan State defense, like way better than all the other guys. But it's like, why is he not staying on the field
this year? So maybe that I don't know.
So like you wonder, is it something like in the locker? But then it could also just be NIL deals, and you need to make everyone happy.
Yeah,
That could be
yeah.
screwing it up. But like he and
And on a wider note, I found that was really challenging watching a lot of these linebackers. It's like, why are they suddenly off the field for like so many snaps?
right.
Like, what is going on?
It's strange, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't really get it. Like they have a legitimate rotation. It's not like a,
Mm,
oh, you're an early down guy, you're a late down guy. It's like
mm,
here's the Turner series, here's the number 12 series, here's the number 18 series. It's like,
right.
okay, like they're just like trading, swapping these guys in and out. But he's so much better than anyone at their second level, Michigan
Mm,
State. I mean, he's an NFL player. I felt that way about his Wisconsin tape when he and Mayama and Jogmeta were just balling out there. But the thing with Njogmeta is that he's not very fast. Turner can cover ground, so I really like him, man. The other guy who I think is
real quick on
yeah,
Turner, Griff.
yeah,
From what I saw, just adding on to what you were saying, like, and his ability to like press the line of scrimmage, stay square, and filter down, and then get outside with the back, like
hmm
press the gap and then press the back to the outside and make the tackle. That's something that I think when the linebacker does it well, particularly in college, you're like, oh yeah, that's what a linebacker's supposed to do. But a lot of guys are kind of clunky doing it or just not able to do it.
hmm
And then the standout thing for me, and I know you've mentioned this before, and in I think your notes that I referenced, which are on Twitter, everybody, is the way he strikes guys taking on blockers is
hmm
he is powerful. Like
yeah,
he's 6'1", but he almost in a good way plays shorter than that. You'd think he'd had an even more of a pad level advantage. Like he will rock linemen if they're coming at him with poor pad level. And so
yeah,
while Campbell's like really elusive, Turner's violent taking on blocks. Like
yeah. Well,
he'll win through blocks to the ball, and it
well,
looks legit.
yeah. So you know how I said how he can vary his stride length like on the fly. It's
Right,
because he can run with his hips sunk. He
right,
can run with low hips like a running
right.
back. So I mean, he kind of this is rich, okay, but he kind of runs like Adrian Peterson in terms of his running gait. Like Adrian Peterson had like a beautiful sprinting gait, right? But
Yeah,
he could also vary his steps and like all those micro movements and drop his pads while still gaining speed and stuff like that. So
yep,
it puts him at the point of contact. He's always underneath the guy. And it's not a big deal for him to drop his hips and pads and shoulders and all that. So he's just a really skilled mover. Frankly, I mean, he's got similar movement skills to Jordan Brooks at Texas Tech. So not quite to the same degree,
no, not definitely not quite the same, but
but
the elements, shades of,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like everything toned down a little
and
bit.
that's why he's a third round pick.
That's why he's a third round pick. I mean, yeah, I'm talking about a third round pick here. You know, I think that he can be a legitimate starter in the NFL, and there are third round linebackers that become important players for their team.
Right.
You know,
Like, what's the third round pick? The Seahawks traded Geno Smith for that. Am I right? Who is the other linebacker that you wanted to talk about?
so the other guy who I think is the most well-rounded prospect is Derek Jackson, the Kentucky guy. He was
Mm-hmm.
Trevin Wallace's Robin last year. And I would say this year that Derek Jackson has better senior tape than Trevin Wallace did. Um,
Wow.
what did I put in my notes? I got
Well,
third
we didn't
round.
love Trevor Wallace, did we? There was weird moments where he'd like have a good rep and then a terrible rep, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think Derek is just more put together. Really comfortable staying square to the line of scrimmage and moving directions. The football IQ is really high. He can match routes. The only blemish is that the long speed is genuinely average. He's not slow. He's just average long speed. But in a 20 to 30 yard by 15 box, he's got lots of functional range. He's good against play action. He's even a little bit heavier than Turner. So like if you get a guy downhill on him, like he can thud him a little bit. He can give him a little something.
Mm,
Whereas with Turner, it's like, yeah, we talked about how Turner likes to hit guys, but like that's when he's in motion, right? Like pure anchor where his feet are in the ground and he's got a guy on him. Turner's gonna get swallowed up a little bit because that's what happens to every linebacker, even Derek Jackson. But Jackson just handles that a little bit better. You know, he'll stack and shed a tight end no problem at the second level. So I just think Turner's a kind of a prospect you just have to tip your hat to and be like, yeah, this guy's a good player. He had improved the team. I like Turner more just for my own like personal biases of just I like how he moves a little bit more. but Derek Jackson, if I'm being honest with myself, like I begrudgingly put him over Turner the more I watched him. Like I gotta,
Did you? Is that this is the guy you kind of comped slightly to Denzel Perryman? Is that correct?
No, that was Kobe King.
Oh, because what you're describing, that kind of sounds like a Perryman. Maybe I'm
So
wrong.
I think Derek Jackson is similar to Kobe King, just a little bit more advanced as a processor and a little bit better pure mover,
Okay,
a little bit better change of direction. But Kobe King is interesting. I mean,
and he's more like a day 3 guy, you think?
King,
Yeah,
I think he's a fourth rounder. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So day 3. Um,
And
but yeah, yeah,
and then these day 2 receivers, there's going to be a
yeah,
whole host going, right? That might be
yeah.
their first pick
It could be, man.
of day 2.
They
Get your pick of the run of guys if it's possible.
I mean, I really like. So this is what I've got. So Hunter McMillan, they're gone. Emeka Egbuka,
Gone.
Matthew Golden. Oh, Egbuka's gone.
Yeah.
Who took him?
A few picks after the Seahawks. It might have been. I don't know. Is a
Yeah.
red team maybe Atlanta?
Was it Bucks?
Tampa Bay. It might have been Tampa Bay, which
Damn.
that kind of makes sense.
Damn. All right. So then I've got Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Jalen Noel, Jack Besh, Kyle Williams, Torrey Horton, Jalen Royals, Elick, Ao Manor. I'm not really big on him. And then it's kind of whatever after that.
Have you ever watched? Here's a name. This is a day 3 name. But have you ever watched Elick
Yeah.
Ayamano?
Yeah.
What do you think of
I
him?
just said it. I wasn't the biggest fan. Are you? Sell me
I
on
was
it.
so disappointed because he had like nearly 300 receiving yards against Travis Hunter in 2023.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, remember this name for next draft cycle. Like 6'2", he's going to be
Yeah.
like, and it's like
Yeah.
nothing happened. I don't know. And he wasn't even starting for them. It was it was a bit
Yeah.
disappointing.
I just think that there's other guys that have his game in this draft that are better.
Mm.
I don't think he's that. He ran a 4.47. I don't think he's that explosive. I don't think he's great tracking the ball. He can play kind of soft sometimes.
Right.
He has some highlight catches at full extension, but I feel like a lot of them are because he mistimed the jump. It didn't need to be a full extension catch.
I think what I like
I
about
don't think he's a particular scheme fit, but
no, well, that scheme fit wise, what I like about how the Seahawks receiver room is constructed, they obviously need a lot more talent, but like you have JSN who can do your Z/slot stuff, but then behind him there's a bunch of guys who you're fine to replace. Like no one is blocked from playing time if they're good enough. Like you have Marcus Valdez-Scantling as your ex trying to earn one last payday. Is he on a 1-year deal? Like I think he is. Like he's not. If someone's better than him, take him off the field. You have Cooper Kupp, who is basically like, is he washed or not? We don't know, but his health has been a big question mark. He's a kind of slot/Z, right? There's and then you've got these prove it guys who are kind of clinging on to their careers, like Bobo Young, Cody White. I'm going to end up saying someone who hasn't been on the team in years, but that kind of speaks to the almost practice squad-ish nature of the guys behind that. Penny Hart, yeah, remember him? He was fun, kind of. Freddie Swain?
Kenny Lawler.
Oh, Kenny Lawler. That broke the team, not interception. Kenny Lawler broke the team.
How about Phil Bates?
Good one. Does Brian Reynolds even count as a receiver?
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
No.
A long time.
There you go.
Yeah, Majumbo, I don't know about Tez. I just think he's too small. We need these guys to block a little bit. I don't know, man. I could get into Jaden Higgins, to be honest with you.
From the wider we've just dialed in on positions a bit, but from like a wider standpoint, Griff, this draft, like my expectation, and you might cringe at me saying this, but my expectation is that the Seahawks are gonna say after they've done all the stuff that their aim of the draft, excuse me, was to get more physical and be able to run the football. And that will be like the key theme that they come away with. And so, from that sense, not contradicting what I've just said, but contradicting what we've just said, maybe receiver's not their first pick. Maybe they double dip on an interior offensive lineman. Maybe they take another running back and do trade Ken Walker. Maybe all this stuff goes down.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. See, they don't need to improve the run game. They need to improve play action. That needs to be, but no one says that. Like a team saying, "Oh, we got to improve the run game." Like that's such a vagary that always plays. It's like you can always say that, but it's like, literally speaking, like no, you don't really need to improve the run game per se. You need to improve your play action, and that should be the focus. And then the run's tied into that, but no one communicates that way. Oh, we want to get better at play action this year. Like no one would say that.
Again, like with the offensive line improvement, it would be fair to bank on play action improving just from Kubiak coming in and actually knowing how to dress it up in a variety of ways and do it from under center and gun and all that type of stuff, right?
Right. I mean, but see, the other thing though is that you don't need the run game to be good either. You just need the run game to be comprehensive and well coached. I don't really care what the numbers bear out. It just needs to have all of it installed to make the defense honor it.
You don't care about rushing efficiency, even after your Chris Carson most efficient gun inside zone runner ever.
It needs to be there. I'd like it to be there in shotgun, but like it's going to be the shotgun run game will be a complement and won't be the main thing. The under center just needs to be well coached and cohesive. I don't care if they don't have a Todd Gurley run game, like under center wide zone run scheme. They don't need that. They just need to hit 4 yards per carry.
That sounds like you care how good it is.
What's that?
4 yards per carry from under center. That's pretty damn good.
Just don't be a disaster at it. Like what they actually need to improve, like rostering wise, is pass protecting guards. Because I believe Kubiak will take care of under center just by giving him, the run-of-the-mill roster, and his scheme will take care of it. And JSN and Darnold just pointing and shooting, that will take care of it. Where you can't really scheme your way into a favorable position is when it's 2nd and 8 and you got to drop back and actually play quarterback and throw the ball. The number one thing they can do to improve that is getting better pass protecting guards.
Well, then,
and they might have done that. So
so there we go. Like, is that Gray's able?
It's the best shot that they realistically had. So yeah, and it's a good process because what else were they going to do? I'm just kind of poking fun at them. Them most likely saying, as you were saying, well, we had to get more physical. Like, no, you didn't really have to get more physical. You had to pull your head out of your ass with your pass protection. That's what you needed to do. It's just like the usual like blah blah grandstanding, but they're just giving canned responses to the media. I just find it funny.
Oh dear. Any other questions, chat? Please do keep them coming. I'd see David. Sorry, I missed that donation. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Seattle still needs a swing offensive tackle to replace Stone Forsythe, or is that a free agency signing? Josh Jones. Will they wait for day 3 or prioritize in day 2? I think that is Jones.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like that's why they did that. And tackle-wise, I don't know if that does exist in this draft. Like in day 3. I mean, there's always someone who's long and like a complete project, but you'd rather have a guy who's played NFL snaps and hasn't been a complete disaster. Not great, but that's why I just swing tackle. Griff, while we wait for chat questions, anything else?
So banh mi is number 1. An Italian melt is number 2. So pepperoni, salami. Number 3,
banh mi.
Banh mi. Pardon me.
Very good. No, I'm not Vietnamese. I would not know the pronunciation there.
I wouldn't either. No disrespect.
Sorry, what was number 2?
So Italian like melt. Okay,
Melt.
that needs to be toasted.
Okay.
Then pastrami Reuben. Okay. Um, uh, Cubano's good. Cuban's good.
I've never had a proper Cubano.
It's quite good. Yeah, Maddie Taylor poses a great question for you. Has Maddie watched Children of Men yet?
No.
I think it's funny that you watched Master and Commander, but you didn't watch Children of Men. You should watch it.
One of them had a nice upbeat message, and it made me feel like you're my friend. Whereas the other one seems a bit darker, and maybe we won't be friends anymore.
It's ultimately like a pro-human story. It's very humanist, despite having a lot of like biblical allegory. It's very humanist. Not that those things could be in conflict.
Do you know what Monjombo is referring to here?
Favorite movie in the Cornetto trilogy?
You don't know what the Cornetto trilogy is, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh no, you're gonna have to watch them all. Mine's Hot Fuzz.
No. I've seen those movies. I didn't know it was called the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, because there's cornetos in every single one. How do you not know that?
Yeah.
Mine's Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz for me.
Yeah, there you go.
I've seen him a Jumbo. I like Shaun of the Dead though.
All right, good. We had a question from Brandon. You guys streaming tomorrow? That's going to be a lot more sick.
Yeah,
well, this wasn't sick.
Day 2 will be really fun.
Yeah, day 2 will be fun. 4 picks, right?
4 picks. Dude, if they just go tight end, linebacker, safety, receiver, I'll be happy.
Schneider does also love like that little trade up to get their guy with like getting rid of his 2/3,
Yeah.
Might only be 3 picks.
Green Bay. What if Green Bay goes Higgins right here?
What if?
Because they like those big guys that can break laterally, even if they're like not great against press, not great at catching. If you're 6'3", 6'4", and you can run a dig route, you're a Packer. Doesn't matter what else you can do.
I'm so tired that mask that they held up like Gordon Ramsay, and it definitely wasn't him. What do you guys do in day 2? Ben asked. What do we do?
So 3:45 a.m. I wake up and I dunk my face in a bowl of ice cold water.
What type of water?
3:47 p.m. I'm applying a banana peel to my cheekbones.
Okay, what type of water?
Saratoga sparkling.
Oh, never heard of that before.
What do we do? So I think the Seahawks. What do the Seahawks do, right?
Yes, I think that's what they were referring to, yeah.
So pick 50. So Campbell's not gone, right?
No, right. But like if he's not gone by the end of today, it's probably bad.
So Maddie, if they take Schwessinger, is it Schwessinger or Schwessinger?
Schwessinger. Yeah.
If they take Schwessinger at 50,
he's quite the specimen, isn't he?
Dude, I mean, his cover skills are like in your face, like wow.
Oh right, I was thinking like that his hair and
Oh, are you saying he's
eye
good looking?
color and...
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see where you're going now. Calm down, Maddie.
Griff, online back, I really wanted Kane Medrano to be good. Like number 20 was popping on UCLA and he didn't come off the field much. Yeah, he can't tackle.
Yeah.
And he's 24.
But yeah, Medrano's kind of funny.
Poor guy.
4th rounder, I think. Yeah. Maddie, did you actually look at my linebacker list?
Yeah.
Teddy Buchanan's pretty interesting. He's kind of like a less extreme Schwessinger.
I can see Schneider like taken the Oklahoma guy. What's he called?
Oh, is that Stutzman?
Yeah, that sounds right.
See, I think John with linebackers, he does seem to value change of direction.
Yeah,
And Stutzman's a little linear.
he
KJ
he
Wright,
he was he reminded me of like if you described Ernest Jones to someone and then told him you had to take him in like day 3 of this draft.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of linear, good at filtering stuff in the middle, uh, tough, but ultimately a day 3 pick. Anyway, Griff, we were asked what we were going to do. So in day 2, I'd take a receiver, a guard, a safety, and a corner.
Receiver, guard, safety, and corner.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Um, I am really curious how the linebacker class falls because,
Oh yeah, I forgot linebacker, but
well, that's fine though. Last year, I think I got everyone wherever I thought they should go, and it wasn't where I thought they would go, where I thought they should go. I had everyone within like at least a round, except for ironically, Michael Barrett and Tyrese Knight. I had Barrett as a fourth rounder. He went in the seventh or undrafted, and then I had Knight as an undrafted guy, and he went in the fourth. So they swapped spots. Everyone else is within a round. This year, I'm pretty sure it's going to be all over the map as far as where I have guys like Chris Paul's talked about as like the third best linebacker. To me, he can't even play him. You can't even play him. Same thing with Barrett Carter. I liked Barrett Carter a little bit when watching what's his face for Clemson last year. I thought, okay, he's going to emerge. I watched him, and he can't play him. He's unplayable. You can't breathe on him. He flies. He gets thrown down the field 20 yards if you even look at him. And they're talking about him as linebacker 4. Demetrius Knight is 25 years old, bro. If you want Demetrius Knight player, you've got Kobe King and Derek Jackson like right there. Like those are the guys if you're looking for that.
well, we'll see if you could be an NFL GM.
Yeah, I mean, it might be
you can gamble on this.
Here. I don't I feel like every year the linebacker board is like a randomizer. They just put in names at a raffle and just pull them out of a hat.
They just look at the tackle numbers.
Maybe.
Supersource with the donation. Thank you, Supersource. Obviously, Supersource, you can rewind to like 30 minutes ish, probably, maybe, where the Zabel pick happened. But I like succinctly, I think we're fairly happy with it. It's as expected. It's what they kind of needed. It's the best they maybe could have done at pick 18 without trading down. Maybe they tried to trade down, but they clearly were not able to or chose not to.
Matty, what are the keys to the Lakers getting up to a 2-1 lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I think, mate, some Timberwolves injuries.
Well, see, they got to continue to close out well on the corner 3. Can
they do that with the the duo?
What do you mean?
Well, has adding Luka into the mix, has that hurt their defense transitions?
Honestly, the only issue they should have is rim protection. Jackson Hayes is just overtaxed because the Timberwolves front court is just too beefy. They got like 3 guys that can play.
That's why I think they need some injuries, you see.
But then the Lakers also need a big man as a lob threat for Luka and LeBron and Reeves, frankly.
Who'd have thought it?
They had that trade for Williams.
And then it fell through.
Yeah, that would have been something. But when the Lakers play their small ball lineup, I mean, they play good defense for that lineup. That lineup only matches up with so many things. So the Timberwolves are just kind of a mismatch for them. But they responded well in game 2 compared to game 1. Lousy defense game one.
Hmm.
Um,
How about Brian Wu tonight, huh? Did you see him?
no, what happened?
Oh, he
I've,
threw some Ks,
I've been neglecting the Mariners just because it's too draining, man.
but they're gonna make the
Get
playoffs this
tired.
year.
Poor Ty. Maybe, maybe
I think they will.
14-11.
Yeah, that's big. That's a winning record.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
above a certain percentage.
That's true.
And oh, this isn't up to date. I think Wu had 8 strikeouts tonight.
That's many Ks.
It was a morning game. Okay, Carl, let's relax here. And Munoz is still great.
He's your
So
guy.
yeah, he's disgusting.
Yeah, he's
Like
nasty.
he had such, what do you call it, movement stuff that the batter thought he'd walked him and like tossed his bat like he was going on a walk, and it was
Yeah,
right in
I
the
love
strike
that.
zone.
The ump
Dirty.
goes not so fast, buddy.
Yeah.
Um,
Golden just went to the Packers.
yeah, Matthew Golden. Okay, dude, he's like another strong number two. The Packers are obsessed with like collecting number two receivers.
Mm.
That's funny. I liked him, man. I liked him more than I think I should have liked him.
I mean, you should call Green Bay and be like, hey, what if we gave you a 6th round pick for Dobbs?
Yeah, interesting stuff. Maddie, have you been to the crosswalk of that famous Beatles picture?
Do you know what the zebra crossing is called?
What is it called?
You don't know?
No, what's it called?
Oh, come on. Abbey Road?
Abbey Road, that's right. So I
Come
knew
on,
that.
man. That's so insensitive.
Have you been there? You've been there, right? Everyone's been there.
I go there like once a year, sometimes twice a year, but you know, everyone in the country does. Like it's
Yeah.
a big thing.
Is it ever just like a normal sidewalk, or is it just a?
Oh no, never. Like
It's just
everyone.
pure tourist trap all
Well,
the
because
time.
you know, because also everyone in the country is making the like yearly pilgrimage to go there. Like, so you have to kind of time it up. But
Yeah,
inevitably, it gets so busy.
yeah.
Because
That's
there's
funny.
like 70+ million people in the country. Like, it's 365 days. Like, you
Yeah,
can do the maths,
yeah. That's funny.
right?
What does it say about society that Abbey Road sidewalk is jam packed, but Hadrian's Wall is desolate?
Right.
Sad.
That's so sad. Did you see what happened to the tree, which was like in the gap of Hadrian's Wall? Sycamore
No,
Gap?
no. What happened?
Oh, it's a good one.
No,
Someone like cut it down.
no.
Yeah,
Who would do that?
I know. I've got a question for you. Have you ever
Yeah.
been to Aberdeen, Washington?
Yes,
What do you think of it?
it's fine.
I've been there too.
Well, what did you think of it?
It was fine.
Yeah,
Isn't that where Kurt Cobain was from?
maybe. I don't. I don't. That sounds right. Sure.
You think?
A lot of Washington's just fine. You know.
Oh,
What are you gonna
they've
do?
well, I don't know what to do.
Have we talked about all the football things?
I know, like we haven't podcasted in a while, so apologies, listeners, for that. I don't know. We can talk about how we feel about the team, I guess, after the draft day, because
Yeah.
you can't judge them until after. This is their vision playing out before
Right.
us right now. This is what they
Exactly.
wanted, so
Yeah.
it would not be fair after one pick when they have a lot more picks to judge them.
Ben Casperson asks, Griff, would you be cool with Embo at 50 in addition, or would you? No, I'd like that. I mean, sure, why not? You get a little bit of a log jam. Maybe one of these guys gets moved to center. People have talked about Embo and at center too. Maybe at that point you just bump Olu, say, sorry, man. That's how it goes sometimes. or maybe it's Haynes that gets bumped, you know. But if it's in the name of putting together a really good interior, then okay, that would be pretty good. To me, Embo is essentially like a better Ruiz. So Cesar Ruiz. And I think Ruiz played really good football. He probably played his best football of his career under Benton and Kubiak last year.
Right. Yep.
So I mean, Embo. I just think they'd be all over Embo as a player. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool, actually. I mean, you'd be talking about a legitimate O line at that point, one that I could really get behind. So that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Maddie, like you were saying, they gutted they gutted the team essentially, and they might continue to do it if they trade Ken Walker. So this whole offseason hinges on the draft, because if you're just being superficial about it prior to the draft, I mean, the offensive roster as it stands is like what, the 20th ranked offensive roster right now.
And that's probably a fair balance between optimistic and pessimistic. But like you could be way more pessimistic about that. You could say 25 and below. You know.
Yeah.
It's probably unfair on Darnold at that point, but you know, it's not just on the quarterback, right?
Well, I mean, another way to frame it: how many above average players do you have?
Right.
You've got JSN and Charles Cross as the only guys you can legitimately say are truly above average. And then there's like players that are only meant to be role players that are solid, right? Like,
well, and then there's players like you would think would be above average, like Walker's potential, right, as a running back.
True.
And then they're apparently chopping him. So
yeah, but the nature of the sport is like any given year, not a lot has to change for, you know, players for units to kind of, you know, climb their way up the ranking chart. So it doesn't mean they can't come out of this draft in a really good position in a way that they can compete. It's just
well, it's interesting as well, Griff, because like their defense was like improved last year. It was watchable for like a whole season in the main. There was a few exceptions there, actually. Anyway, we don't need to get caught up in that, but that was like the strength of the team. And on that defense, you have like veteran guys who've emerged as like key team leaders, and they're even more key now that Metcalf, Lockett, Geno have gone, right? I'm thinking of Julian Love. I'm thinking of Leonard Williams. They're under contract for multiple years in Seattle. They are, you know, the key figures. You'd expect McDonald to say this, but he was sort of kind of asked about like how the team's feeling after what's gone down. And he said, guys are feeling optimistic, and we've kind of explained what's going on and stuff. And that's all well and good saying that. But, you know, it can quickly turn pretty bad if whatever happens doesn't happen well. if this draft doesn't go well and then you start losing, and then it all kind of falls apart. So essentially, there's a ton riding on this draft with the way that they've chosen to proceed, and so that's why today it's a pretty good start, but tomorrow and day 3, massive, absolutely massive. And good luck to John Schneider.
Yeah,
and also it's unrealistic. Like a roster is not built by rookies in one draft. Like and you could say that the GM has bought himself some time. OG3, chicken teriyaki or chow mein?
I mean, as a Seattleite, I gotta say the former personally.
Yeah.
There's some really good chicken teriyaki around here.
Yeah, I when I went to Seattle, I didn't have any, so I need to return for that, among other things.
Yeah.
I would go chow mein, but with the caveat, haven't tried the Seattle teriyaki.
Chow mein's great. I love chow mein.
Ramen or pho? That, you know what you're doing with that, Ben, because I've had thoughts on this podcast about both these.
Let's not pit two kings against one another here. There's enough
It's a
room in
mid-off,
my stomach for both.
really. I'd go with. Okay, no, I can't say that. What? Well, hang on, I can. Yeah, I can. What's the difference between ramen and pho?
Oh my god! All right,
No, I'm genuinely asking.
let's not pose questions like this to white guys on a football
Yeah,
podcast
that. Yeah.
talking about the. We don't
Well,
just,
just explain it to me.
Maddie, you've got the internet. You can just Google these things.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think I prefer ramen,
I prefer pho. This is really good though.
but pho, don't you get like you get like better toppings generally?
Toppings.
I do love other cultures and food. Just to be clear,
Oh
this
my
does
god!
look bad. It's reflecting.
All right, Maddie, beans on toast or butter on toast? No, no, no,
Oh,
no, 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 no.
well,
Beans
you
on
didn't let me
toast.
answer.
Beans on toast or Marmite on toast?
Oh, so on the toast subject, right? You know how you guys make grilled cheese?
Yeah.
We have cheese on toast.
So you just put like, is it just cold cheese on a piece of
No, no,
toasted bread?
relax, fucking relax. We put the cheese on the bread, and then put the bread under a grill, and then it just like has it on one slice of toast, like
Sure.
the melted cheese.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I did that when I was like in fifth grade. I thought that's like it's like a middle schooler's struggle meal. Um, why not go through the trouble of just adding another layer of cheese and then putting on a slice of bread and then pan frying that sucker?
Just unhealthy. Grilled cheese is perfectly healthy. Cheese on toast. Sorry.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Well, that was
Um,
great. I love podcasting with you. It's so fun. We should do this again.
yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
time.
All right.
So someone asked, Aiden asked a good question. What did Aiden ask? I'm coming in late. Just got off work. Quick summary of your thoughts on Zabel as a player.
We've just done that.
Well, no, he's late though, Matty. He's explosive. He
No,
gets out.
but we just did that for someone who was late already,
Well, we're
and
doing it
they gave us
again.
money.
We're doing it again
Okay.
because that's
Oh,
what
hold on. How would you How would you pronounce Aiden's surname?
Gallagher.
Oh, good.
Don't tell me you're gonna say like Glogger or something.
Well, I thought that's how you'd say it.
No, we say Gallagher.
Okay, cool.
Explosive. Can cover ground laterally really well. Um, he's strong. He sustains blocks. The play strength is there. He likes to, that this is the stuff that like some people like start their evals with. For me, it's like the cherry on top. I don't need it, but if it's there, great. He finishes guys. He plays through the whistle. He drives them into the ground. His protection is good. His feet are really good. I mean, he's really good at he's really good at staying balanced. He's coordinated. He's really coordinated. The only thing I worry about is the short arms with his height. If he doesn't shoot his hands first, he tends to lose the rep because he's got short arms at 6'5", and that's something you'll need to worry about at guard.
They took Jackson.
But he rarely doesn't shoot his hands first and come out on top off the snap. So it's typically fine. He's a balanced guard. I mean, we talk about him as a zone fit because he is, but he could play in a power downhill scheme, duo scheme as well. He can pull. So I think he's a good player. Probably like a really strong second rounder in my book. But again, like they've been played at guard. You got to do something, man. So don't play around. Just take the guy you like. That's a scheme fit. So you had to do this. So I'm fine with it.
Well said. Jackson Dart to the Giants, Griff.
Yeah, there were some rumors that he could have gone 3, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But dude,
that might have been conflated, but yeah.
Dude, Jackson Dart is a project, man. Talent, sure, he's got an arm, but the dude is a complete project. Good for him though.
Just asking for a friend. How many SEC players do you think are drafted in the next 7 picks?
3.
Don't say that. Actually, no, 3's fine. If it's 4, we're cooked.
What's the over under?
Hold on. This is for a friend. The over under is 14.5.
Does that friend need to call a hotline of some sort?
Nope. Nope. Under 14.5 and we're cooking.
Has this friend ever made an open-faced grilled cheese before?
It's a cheese on toast. Don't be so disrespectful to someone's food culture.
So Matty, taxonomically, what's the difference between cheese on toast and an open-faced grilled cheese sandwich?
A smorgasbord. Open-faced grilled cheese does not exist. Also, here we go. We use proper cheese, not that shite plastic shit, which tastes delicious, I'll admit, and melts really well.
No one
We'd
really
use like a nice, sharp, proper English cheddar, and maybe some Lancashire.
Lancashire. Yeah.
Oh, you'd love Lancashire, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you some when we meet. I'm gonna bring you some Lancashire, and it will have been in my suitcase the whole time, and it'll be so sweaty.
Do you remember when Seth Galina shipped me from Montreal poutine, and he didn't pack it in like ice or anything? So I had melting or like fermenting poutine, and it leaked out too, and it was soaking in the cardboard.
Did you eat it?
No, but I kept the container though as a memento of our friendship.
That's nice.
Do
you put pens in it or something?
No, I should though. I should put things in it. Anyway,
what's the trade for the Rams, Ben? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, the spoiler embargo is lifted, so you guys can put whatever you want. What happened?
They gave up the 2nd, a 7th, and a first-round pick in 2026 for the Falcons. 26th overall and a 3rd.
Wow, Falcons trade. That's significant. Who do the Rams want?
Shador.
Really?
No, that'd be funny though.
That'd be because he'd just be going backwards. He'd be falling back into the golf trap again, right? McVay would.
Well, like I just kind of presume that he's just gonna try and do it with Jimmy G. Like you've invested so much time in there. Maybe he just doesn't have it. Maybe he doesn't care.
The Jimmy G led Rams gave the Seahawks defense some trouble week 18 of the 2024 NFL season.
People forget that.
All right, who are they picking? Shit.
Wait, what? But the Falcons picked. I'm really confused.
Wait, did I misinterpret the trade?
I don't know what the trade is. Ben, explain the trade. I don't.
They're getting the 2026 picks.
Oh, the Falcons traded in. Oh. Griff, we're a bit stupid there. Thank you, Finn. Obviously, we're paying a close attention to this. That's their GM is an interesting one. What are they doing? For a first-round pick?
It's interesting. I don't really get it.
Was he even a first-round player? Fringe at best, right?
Yeah.
What? Also, that's another SEC player for those keeping track. A surprise SEC player.
Who Baltimore does will be intriguing.
And has Amos been drafted yet? Just thinking of SEC
No.
players. Fuck. God, it was looking so good. He's Dion Jordan. Okay, Ben. Love it.
Cash. Wait, Dion Jordan before the steroids or after the steroids? 245-pound Dion Jordan or 280-pound Dion Jordan?
Griffin's comments on Dion Jordan no way reflect my own, and not also of the Seattle Overload podcast. That's his personal satire.
Steroids are fine in moderation.
This is sprinkling. Well, I need to wee, so I don't know if you want to stay on here, Griff, or
You just want to stay through the first round?
sure.
I mean, you want to go?
You can talk to the listener.
All right. Well,
Griff, don't say anything else about alleged performance enhancing drug use.
So, chat, what are you guys watching? Andor. What do you guys think of Andor? Pretty good, huh? Did you guys watch Daredevil? It was okay. It was upper tier Marvel TV show. It wasn't that good. I liked it. Whatever. Andor is really good. Hope they give what's the guy's name? Gareth Edwards? No. Who's the writer for Andor? Andor writer Tony Gilroy. The Gilroy brothers. They should give him more. They should give Gilroy more Star Wars projects. I like Rogue One. All right, thoughts on Sinners? Sinners was great. What a film. Coogler's so good at introducing characters over the course of like the first act, and while telling a story at the same time, like world building at the same time. He can balance a lot. And then obviously the second act, third act, I thought he nailed all of it. It was really good. Sinners was great.
Here's a question.
I need to scout the Cardinals more, Monjambo. I need to put together my Cardinal big board. Scout the College of Cardinals University.
Here's a question. Who are your top 4 favorite Seahawks edge rushers of all time? And to make it fair, like of
what I've seen.
Yeah, what you've seen and can remember. Like no one's gonna be upset.
Pure edge rush, yeah. Right? Chris Clemens, Patrick Kearney, Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill. I mean, I like Bruce Irvin as a linebacker, not so much as an edge rusher. 5 is tough because there really haven't been 5 guys.
I think you just listed 5 guys.
I'm at 4, aren't I?
Kearney, Averill, Clemens,
Bennett.
There you go then. How do you feel about that? Dion
Jordan. Jordan's been number 5.
Yeah, he was really good that year. He was so good. He's playing for his NFL contract.
He was good for 2 months in 2018 18 it was.
And like one of them in action green, right?
Yeah,
There's an action green game.
against the Cardinals, I think. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Did they pick an SEC player? God damn it. How do you feel about like the Bruce Irvin trade pick, Griff? Like with how high it was and like what he was expected to be. Because I think an underrated part of that is that they used him to spy Kaepernick so often, and he was kind of like the key for them. Well, not the key, but he was like the necessary tool that they needed to. Oh, they took Starks. Oh,
Man, he fits that scheme.
that's a nice pick.
I mean, that kind of makes you feel, validated for wanting him to be a Seahawk a little bit, right?
For sure. Same scheme, same
Yeah.
system. We said it was a bit rich at 18, at 27. That's a nice pick.
Yeah, that's where he should go. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Shoot. Yeah, so the Irvin thing, Griff.
Yeah.
He was kind of key for spying Kaepernick and like the passing down situations. Then they managed to get like really high level Sam linebacker play out of him. And I guess he never really developed more as a pass rusher.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing was the signing of Averill moved him to the right edge. And
He was a left, yeah.
Yeah, because he couldn't essentially couldn't turn left. Well, he could turn left, but it's the whole it's like the Zoolander, but it was more so his inside, because he liked that stab move, right? The long arm with his inside arm. But I'm pretty sure that he just felt more comfortable doing that with his right arm, which you do off the left side. So when you move to the right side, you're doing that move with your left arm. He would never use it because I don't think he felt comfortable doing it with his offhand. The knockdown moves weren't there. But the other thing was when he put on weight, which helped him stand up tight ends and tackles,
Set the edge.
set the edge as a run defender and as a linebacker. But his strength, his gains in strength weren't enough to offset the slight lack of explosiveness. And so he couldn't put tackles off balance anymore at 250, 255. He needed to be like that 240, 245 range. His best year as a pass rusher was as a rookie. 8 sacks, high pressure rate.
Yep.
He could fly off the ball more and really, really get right tackles nervous. And then he could counter because they would have left their hips. They'd be, turning their hips, and he could just play with them. Like that one game against Green Bay, I think he like worked Brian Balaga. So he was never the same after that. So I think it was a combination of the weight gain and the signing of Cliff Averill. Now, had they not signed Cliff Averill, Irvin would have been better, but he wouldn't have been better than Cliff Averill ended up being, I don't think. So I think that I'm not saying they shouldn't have signed Cliff Averill, but essentially Cliff Averill kind of ruined Bruce Irvin's first round pick trajectory.
Well, and that's topical because it's kind of what they're facing. I mean,
yeah, that's another reason why they shouldn't draft D-line this year, because you're just going to screw people's development up. And all these guys, Hall, Maffei, they need the snaps. So
yeah, you got to give them a chance to show that they've got it. There's so little games in the NFL, and
right.
there's so little opportunities, really. Like, think how many snaps they actually do play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So we liked Starks as our guy, safety wise. After Starks, safety wise, Griff, who's like a nice fit for the system that you like?
I like Makuba a lot. I think he's explosive as all get out, tenacious coming downhill, takes great angles. He's really fun. Smart too. I think Xavier Watts is the smartest safety in the whole draft. He's just not quite the athlete the other two guys are, overall player, but he's really good too. All these guys can play in the slot. They can play boundary, field, slot. In the box, like a pure pure, A or B gap player in a pinch, but ideally not really in there. They don't need that type of player anyway. So given that they only play cover 3 mostly and like for pass purposes, they all defend the run well just fine as a nickel, as a slot defender. Yeah, I'm not an Emin guy. I mean, I get the appeal, but
there's so many.
There's just too many blemishes.
There's so many. So many is probably too strong, but I can think of a few examples of like really athletic testing DBs, particularly at the safety position, where they test so athletically that you knew they were athletic on tape as well, but then you go back and watch and you're like, oh, they're not putting it all together with that. Like what are they missing? Why is this not translating so much? And I think it's kind of comes down to one, the kind of instincts at safety and the football tape study and feel that is really what differentiates the quality safeties from the average to bad, right?
Yeah.
And then I think too, like he's not very good tackler. Like he misses. I mean, what blemishes did you see?
Well, he can't turn, and he takes bad angles. He's not a fluid athlete. He's a linear, explosive athlete. In his football, like his concept recognition isn't advanced enough to
Ohio State, Big Ten.
So I mean, you've got a Taylor Mays situation. You've got a Taylor Mays, Isaiah Simmons, Peyton Wilson,
without the body of work.
Without the body of work, Melifonwu. I mean, there's a lot of these guys, and he's one of them. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll pan out. But maybe I'm being too cynical.
Melifonwu once upon a time was a Seahawk.
Did they really?
I think they brought him in for a tryout, or maybe because he tried to convert to corner.
Huh.
Or maybe that was just the rumor. It might have been like an off the books tryout.
Oh, that was Obi. Yeah, that was. Oh no! I forgot he has a brother.
Yeah, who's actually kind of okay.
There's Obi Melifonwu, and then Efiatu Melifonwu is the guy who's kind of panned out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Efiatu is the guy who moved the corner, I think.
But Obi's Wikipedia doesn't mention the Seahawks, but I'm pretty sure he had a trial with them.
You could be right.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm right.
Lions took a DT. Kansas City, they got to go receiver, right?
Better not be a SEC player here. SEC player and the pod's ending. Okay, that's one thing we haven't done. The state of the NFC West.
Yeah.
It was pretty friendly to McDonald last year. I think, like in his first year as a head coach, right? I think it's even friendlier this year. Like everyone's kind of dwindling.
Yeah.
Someone just needs to step up and go, this is
take a plunge. Division. Yep. Take it by the horns, man. You got the opportunity to.
But the 49ers are kind of over.
Are they? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It has elements of they missed their window. They have to pay people. They're falling out a bit because some people aren't being paid. Purdy's gonna have to get paid, or does he? But he probably will.
Yeah.
The Rams are. I don't know what the Rams are. Like what? Is Stafford gonna be good? Is Stafford good still?
They're a weird team. Is their defense? What's their defense doing?
Well, Monjombo points out that their defensive coordinator has been developing every one of their rookies well, and they do seem to have those like weird day 3 contributors who do like really good things, along with like we kind of were skeptical about Verse and what's he called? I want to say it's Breesy, but it's not that. It's the other short-armed white D lineman. Who's their defense tackle who they took last year?
Kobe Turner.
No, white guy.
Oh
Fisk.
yeah.
Fisky.
Yeah,
Not
Braden
Breesy.
Fiske.
Fisky. Yeah. And we're kind of skeptical of that, but they seem to have a pretty good plan. I really like their DC, like the way he calls games. And
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. But I think they're the best team in the division. But
Think
with
so?
the caveat that I don't know what Stafford is. But
Yeah, there's a lot of room for variance there with them.
yeah, and like the defense
So,
could certainly regress. And then the Cardinals I cannot take seriously. So
well, I mean, they took a big leap last year. They went from a 4-win team to what are they, 7-8 win team?
yeah,
I think
but
they can make another jump, and they should have won more games. They kind of wussed out at the
they
end.
lost some ones they shouldn't have maybe.
Um,
I need after this pick all defense, no SEC, and then I'm a millionaire.
so, do you want me to tell you who the Commanders took?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me, but after this pick,
Well, that is this pick.
yeah. What is this pick?
Josh Connerly, Oregon.
Perfect. Now I need all defense, no SEC, and then I'm a millionaire, and I will never have to do the podcast again.
Yep.
But
Thank
just for love of
God.
the game, because we do make a lot of money from this.
Buffalo. Who's Buffalo going to take?
Probably an SEC receiver. I don't think so. Maybe a lineman, Griff?
Yeah.
Well, where's the value right now?
Josh Simmons is still out there. Their edge rushers.
Oh, Jihad Campbell would be a good pick. Do they need linebacker? Not really. Kind of, maybe. Where did Matt Milano go? Oh dear. Look at that. Griff's had enough. Yeah, Sean, Will Johnson, that he does feel like a Bills type pick, Will Johnson, to be fair, but I didn't really like him. I mean, sure, he's probably fine at this point, but he was in the top 10 of some mocks a while ago, I'll admit. Did you like Connolly?
Yeah, but as a tackle only.
Right. And on the left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Charles Cross a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. What's the social media reaction to the pick? Is everyone happy?
Yeah, everyone likes it a lot.
Similar to the last two drafts. We've nearly made it. Given Campbell's fallen this far, I would say that he's out of there. This is clearly a medical thing. That being said, the NFL does value off-ball linebackers not that high. But yeah. Sean's asking you, Griff, who are your 3 guys at 18 when they picked? We kind of discussed that at the time, right? But
yeah, I mean, it would have been Jahad Campbell, I guess Zabel, and then I don't.
We discussed Starks, but it's
Starks,
Burley.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 18 is a weird spot to be in. I wonder. I mean, Zabel probably would have been there if they could have traded back. Maybe they tried to trade back and they couldn't find a partner. So
there was discussion from Rappaport that they were open to trading back. Like, if Rappaport's tweeting that out before the draft, you're kind of pressing the buttons, hoping, right? You would think.
Right.
But they won't be displeased with what they did. And there's been many a time Schneider's traded back and you can accuse him of being overly cute and missing out on better value. Has Barron been... Sean, has Barron been picked yet? Because I liked Barron.
Jahdae Barron?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like
Denver. To Denver?
Oh, I didn't realize what you were asking me.
That's fun. That's a fun combo. Wow. Him and Sertan, that is fun.
So,
what happened?
All right. So Brian Dable announced at his press conference that Russ will be our starter. So they're just giving it to. I mean, maybe that will change, but he's just to outright name him starter.
Taking the pressure.
It's interesting.
Monjombo, Rappaport has been calling for someone to trade up and take Shadeur for the last 20 picks. Yeah, they've been really trying to push Shadeur. Like, we know who they're friends with, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm impressed. He should go in the second round. He should go.
Yeah, it's like they're exercising.
But then you
right
wonder,
amount of caution.
Is it because of Dion that they don't want his involvement, and that's why he's dropping? Like, do they actually have a first round eval on him? Or
see that's sort of what I was trying to get at as well with like the whole thing of
sword.
Yeah, that's quite a thing, like, to unpick when you're trying to work out like how you're going to coach the guy and stuff.
Yeah. Interesting.
Who did the Bills pick? What is this Saints thing with Derek Carr's shoulder, Griff? It's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, he downplayed it to the team.
Yeah, but like, what? That's just so broken. In fact, of all the teams, I think they're the team I'd least like to be following at this moment.
Yeah.
Even Cleveland's more fun in that you're finally getting rid of the disgusting mess.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Eagles are trading 32 and 164 to the Chiefs for 31. Okay, so the Eagles are moving up.
No. Down.
Oh.
Wait, what?
I thought they had 32. The Eagles had 30.
They have 31.
They have 31 now.
Oh, I see. They trade up one spot.
Took Hairston. Yeah.
That's an SEC player. God damn it. I'm not going to be a millionaire. Wait, the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Whoa, I didn't know that.
All right, so Philly. Who does Philly want? Dude, Philly's gonna take Campbell, aren't they?
Yeah, that's such a Howie move. Just keep cycling through like great linebackers who are dinged. Although Nakobe Dean I wasn't that high on.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Oh, that's the. Yeah. I really liked Hairston's tape, is what I'd say on him.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more we can say on that, but yeah.
He's got a funny case. So.
Yeah.
Who did the Chiefs? So Eagles gonna go Campbell. Chiefs got to go receiver, right? Receiver. Chiefs go. Who would the Chiefs go?
Well, I thought like Hairston would be like their type of.
Chiefs could go Higgins, Burden, Dole. Oh yeah. You guys are right. Simmons or Ursery, they could go tackle, like you guys were saying. Yeah, Simmons is good as hell. I mean, if it wasn't for the injury, Simmons would be in the top half of the first, I think. What if the Chiefs shock the world and take like Mason Taylor?
But Griff, what you were telling me about Hairston, like I did search for it and found a few things, but like why has that not been
I don't know.
reported on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's kind of strange.
Very strange. He's really good on the field, though, you know.
Yeah.
Campbell might be out for the year. Tough, says Ben. Wow.
Really? What does he have going on? I don't even know what the injury is.
No, nor do I. So who would Philly have moved up a little tiny bit for? If not Campbell.
Maybe they want to.
Amos, a corner.
Yeah,
maybe?
I was gonna say, do they want a corner? It could be safety. They could go for a safety. It could be Makuba or Watts.
What? He has both shoulders and knee issues. Oh my god.
Oh man, that's
like a mess.
That's tough.
That must suck as well. Like, imagine being a senior and playing really good football, and then like you come to the draft and you're like just so banged up that you should be a first round pick and you're not. Well, let's see if the Eagles do take him.
So the Eagles did take Jihad.
They did?
Called that shit.
Well, it's so obvious. It's their
Howie
MO.
Class.
Yep. Again. How does he keep doing this?
He's just willing to take some risks.
Yeah.
All right, so KC, receiver or tackle? Receiver or tackle? Hmm. Maddie, you should watch Andor.
Yeah? What's that? It's about Star Wars?
Yeah, you'd like it because it's grown-up Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. I am
You,
very
you,
mature.
you can pat yourself on the back for feeling,
Suitably nourished
yeah, like an
intellectually.
auteur of cinema.
Right. That's right. That's me.
That is you.
Have you watched the new Wallace and Gromit yet?
No, I have not.
Nor have I.
Oh,
It's on my to-do list, you know?
is it really? Is it on your watch list?
Yeah, it's like on the top of my watch list.
Mm.
Right at the top. Ahead of anything.
Come on, come on, ESPN, get on with it.
Why is it taking so long? Such a mess.
You millennials and your need for instant gratification. Have some patience, Maddie.
I am much younger than you.
Okay, much is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Don't think so.
I think so.
Chat, guess how old Griffin is and how old I am.
I think most of you guys know how old we are.
No, I'm not sure they do.
Maddie is 16. That's correct. No, he's not. He's a big boy. Maddie's a big boy.
That's right. Massive.
Majamba with a pretty solid answer.
Solid. Not right, though, but solid.
I'm hurt by Misfit. I'm hurt.
Everyone is cooking you.
Yeah, I'm getting fried.
This is bad.
Do I need to break out the what's that called?
The banhammer.
No.
Oh. You know I like banning people.
What's the
Abacus.
no. Damn it. What's that skincare product that has like actually proven to work on wrinkles and stuff? Starts with an R. Damn. I think what people are saying is I need to start rubbing some cream into my face. No, so I'm 30. Maddie, how old are you? Retinol. Thank you, Majumbo. I gotta up my retinol regimen.
You being 30 is so bad. Like, it's really washed.
How old are you, Maddie?
I'm 28.
You're 28. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
One thing I get is people say, "Oh, you look so young," and I'm like, "Yep." And then they're like, "One day that'll be a good thing, though. It is a good thing." And I'm like, "Yep. One day, yep."
It'll come.
And I'm like,
said
"Did
it,
you go
you
to
guys.
Abbey?" Then I'm like, "Did you go to Abbey Road recently?" And they're like, "Yep. Went last week." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'm going next week."
Maddie, when was the last time you've been to Hadrian's Wall?
Well, it's actually like I don't really go there
You've
because it's
never been
quite a
there?
sad reminder of the like when we were ruled by Romans, which is quite hurtful.
Have you ever been to Antonin's Wall?
I don't know what that is.
You haven't heard of the Antonin Wall?
No,
It's the other wall
never been there.
north of Hadrian's.
Yeah, well, I never go there.
Have you really never heard of it, or are you just messing with me?
Who are the Kansas City Pickens? Why do they say Jihad Campbell is Edgerrin Cooper And why are they saying he has pass rush value? Like, sure, he has some pass rush value, but he's not like so crazy.
There's nothing really there.
No.
Last time I've been to
Sub
Mount
rusher.
Vernon,
Yeah,
I
right.
was a young lad. Mojumbo. I have been there.
I wonder if they're gonna try and replace Zach Bowen with Jihad Campbell.
Zach Bond is like the top 5 linebacker in the league. Can't just move on from him.
Yeah, but if Campbell needs like both his shoulders replaced and 2 new knees, like, you know, a couple of years time, 3 years time, 4 years time. Nah, Sean, he can rush the passer. It's just like I think it's overstated because Alabama used him like that a bit. Like you can do it a tiny bit, but we're talking like 4 or 5 snaps a game in the NFL. And like that sack they just showed was an effort sack. It was a good way of getting rid of the tackle's arms, but it was poor tackle play. And yeah. Why are they? Have they got like ads they have to sell, and that's why they're taking so long? Like at the back end,
Yeah.
usually it flies by, right?
All right, Matty. The Chiefs pick is in. Do you want to hear it?
No, don't spoil it.
No spoiling? Okay. You're about to find out if you're going to make money or lose money tonight, or if your friend is going to make money or lose money.
I think I've lost money already.
Oh.
Like we had loads of SEC players. Like all of them were SEC. I think if this is an offense player I lose, I'm not a millionaire. Rather than saying win or loss, it's either I am a millionaire or I'm not a millionaire, you know? Just thinking in a different way. His shoulders look fine here. They look quite nice in that suit. They tried to trade up with the Chargers earlier for Campbell earlier.
Very interesting.
I don't know how he always does it. Like, I like Oren Burks. He did an okay job for the Eagles, but he's no Jihad Campbell.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Oh. An offense player. I think that means every bet lost. Oh.
Bro. All right. So I guess that concludes negotiations. Matty, it's been fun.
Yeah? Good. It has been fun. It's good to be back, eh?
Yeah.
We've
back.
got so many more players to talk about next time. There's a lot of promising options for Seattle right now.
Yeah, it's setting up to be a very good day 2 tomorrow.
Yeah. The most important day 2 of John Schneider and, well, his career.
Yeah, I would say so.
And a very important day 2 in Mike McDonald's young head coach career. Finn, we will be on for day 2. We'll work out the timings. I have to be up early the next day, so probably won't stay awake past the Seahawks' last 3rd round pick, which is fairly early. So,
all right.
There you go.
Peace out.
But thanks, chat. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for everyone donating. Thank you to Ben, Finn, Lee, Carl, David, and Super Sauce XL. Much appreciated as ever. And yep, we'll be back tomorrow, similar time, except it kicks off an hour earlier, doesn't it? Which is good for my sleep. Drift, closing wisdom. Oh, you don't have it.
Wisdom. Hey,
you don't have it. No. You don't have time to Google that
you
shit.
Don't,
No.
Hold on.
No.
Matty, you're just constantly in a state of doubt. And instead of being in a state of doubt, how about you say, I am open to healing. I am optimistic.
Open to killing.
Today, I am peaceful and whole. I am proof enough of who I am and what I deserve. I am responsible for myself, and I start there. I am safe and surrounded by love and support. I am still learning, so it's okay to make mistakes, Matty. I am understood, and my perspective is important. I am valued and helpful. Matty, I'm also well rested and excited for the day, even though it's night.